east of where Jim is, farther inland, sustained 75 gusts to 124, and that doesn't have the same kind of exposure that places that are getting the wind coming off of the Gulf of Mexico. So this is from blowing from a direction from land toward Charlotte Harbor, and you're 75 gusts 124. So this is a Cat 4 hurricane, which wouldn't be surprising there'd be stronger winds elsewhere. But here is the eye, and this whole area, because of major hurricane conditions, major hurricane force winds affecting such a large area in the northern, northeastern, and eastern eyewall, we've got this huge area under an extreme wind warning. This is shelter like you would for a tornado. This is lowest dry level, most interior room. Put as many balls between you and the outside as possible, helmets on, mattress on top of you, whatever you need to do. Because
damn hurricane, we didn't need this.
Done, and things flying through the air could fly onto your home. And the reason I say lowest level, most interior room, but lowest dry level is the rainfall that is happening has prompted a flash flood warning up in here. So that is the other aspect of this that will become more and more dire the longer
oh
that this
my
large,
God, look at
intense,
Naples,
slow-moving
Florida.
hurricane dumps rainfall, the more we're going to have
Wow.
rain-reduced flooding. And some of that is happening in coastal
Fort
areas
Myers
that are dealing
Beach,
with
that's
storm
bad.
surge. But the bottom line is that this has been a worst-case landfall scenario for places like Fort Myers Beach with the catastrophic storm surge that has flooded
Holy
up to the
moly.
roofs of buildings.
Everybody needs to get the
Is
safety.
presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When the unthinkable happens, good neighbors show up. For 100 years, State Farm has been among the first to arrive. With the latest technology and tools to help you recover faster. State Farm has been there before.
Move
And we'll
more
be there
fucking
again
east,
and
you
again.
bitch.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is
Hell
there.
no.
Stay tuned to get this free 5-piece non-stick bakeware set from Gotham Steel.
I paid so much for these pans, but they still burn and they never come clean. And I just know a new set is going to cost me a fortune.
Not anymore. Introducing on.
See what these guys got.
Right now,
What?
a couple inches thick. Unless you have a vehicle that can get through it, it's getting harder and harder.
I wouldn't be out in
now
this
to
shit.
drive
No way.
along these roads. You can see the trees. I'm sure you can hear from my microphone that the wind is getting stronger and stronger. Just as I'm standing here talking to you, there is a significant amount of rain already starting here in Osceola County. And you know that storm is miles and miles away, just making landfall. And already here in the south of our viewing area, they're starting to get pummeled.
All right, Shannon, that is a very descriptive take some cover there. We'll come back to you and your photographer, Carrie, there. I just talked with Tom. This is one of those examples of those feeder bands that are just starting. It's going to pound us like that for the rest of the immediate future. Lake Toho is 35 miles. It's a huge lake, and it's the inflow for the Shingle Creek, so that water's got to go somewhere. Much of it goes to Shingle Creek. Then it winds up in people's yards, in their homes.
Everybody
So
in
the flooding
Florida
is
be
going to
safe.
be significant. We also saw some
Protect
video, and
yourself,
we're gonna
protect
encourage
your
people with This
pets.
graphic right here, safely, maybe through your window, or if the squall has passed, to share your video with us, and we'll share it to our viewers. WFTV.com/share. Very easy to remember. Take a video or picture on your phone, send it along. We will then share it. We just got some video, and I'm going to get it turned around shortly, and it's in New Smyrna along Riverside Drive, and some of the boats there, and this is, again, a long way from where Shannon is, have broken free from their
Damn.
dock lines and are now banging against the seawall in New Smyrna Beach, and the storm is so far from there, and yet that is already happening.
So you think the storm right now is still, what, 150 miles from?
It's 120 miles from, pardon me, I've been looking at this,
Oh, no, that's
where
good,
Shannon
yeah.
Muller was in Osceola County, 100
hurricane force winds expected here, and that's kind of what we assumed there as we were showing you those county by county graphics. We were, showing you the winds last night, 70, 80, maybe even close to 90 miles an hour in northwestern portions there of Osceola County over towards the Four Corners. So the tropical advisories since the 11 o'clock update there, tropical storm warnings now in our north and west counties, hurricane warnings along and east of I-4 extending from Volusia County back towards Brevard County. Lake County, you are still under a hurricane warning, as is the metro areas down towards the Winter Haven area. Let's take a look now. Live radar, nothing spinning and rotating right now. That's certainly some good news, but there is a tremendous amount of rainfall from Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, back towards Kissimmee and Orlando. Extending westward there to Bushville, we head a little bit farther to the south. Very interesting little features here that we're going to have to watch. Again, when you start seeing these little teardrop signatures on the radar, sometimes that can be an indication that things are trying to curl and twist. But right now, there's just a lot of wind. If we pixel query some of these, I'd be willing to bet we're probably in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range. And lo and behold, Alex is doing a great job of showing us some of those winds. Briefly here, I want to head down towards the eye wall. What we're going to continue to do here is watch that eye wall and watch those, monitor those winds as this rides to the north and east. Eventually that core will get in and around our area. Let me take you to Fort Myers there. You can see we've got that camp bouncing around. 130 mile an hour winds just to the north and west of there. In the Fort Myers area, we are pinging about 110 mile an hour winds. That is just an unbelievable picture, a scary picture. Hope folks are hunkered down right there. You see
that is scary.
The northeastern side.
This is the perfect storm.
This is all going to be lifting to the north and the east.
Oh, great.
Slowly winding on down on approach. And Alex, that's one of the things we're going to have to watch as we go through these county by county graphics and kind of break down how much rain is going to fall in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. I mean, we're just expecting just an incredible amount of rain in spots, and that, of course, is why we do have those expected flooding across almost the majority of central Florida here, from about central Osceola County down towards the south. We are expecting that flooding, and here's why. Let's take a look at the European rainfall totals, or at least the model data here. The European model has been fairly consistent, moving just slightly a little bit faster than what I'm about to show you on the American GFS model. And just the slight increase in speed means just the slightest decrease in rains, because again, less time for that rain overhead, but still 13.5 inches of rain in Winter Haven, almost 10 inches of rain in Orlando, 9.3 inches in DeLand. Compare that to the GFS rainfall, again a little bit slower, but look at the amount of rain here. Again, like
that's a lot of
water in DeLand, expecting a swath of about 18 to 24 inches of rain across parts of central Florida. As we take a look at the county by county graphics here, we are expecting, again, significant amounts of rain across our communities. We're going to be seeing with 10 to 15 plus inches of rain across Marion County, max wind gusts about 45 to 55 miles per hour. Sumter County, a little bit closer to the core of those winds. That's why those max gusts about 60 to 70 miles per hour, about over a foot of rain through Sumter County. Lake County will also be dealing with significant amounts of rain.
But still, so far, we have not seen like major damages or closures in terms of, what this storm right now is causing in other parts of central Florida. Guys?
All right. Any briefing expected in the next half hour or so, or are they going to wait, Carolina?
Not an official press conference, but at 4:30, I will have Bill Litton. He is the Emergency Management Director live to give us an update.
Oh, that'll be great. Great perspective from him. He does a great job. Carolina, great work as always. We have some videos, too. Let's start. Go ahead. What are we going to have first?
Yeah, so first we want to take a peek at Fort Myers Beach. It's been pretty bad over there. We've been seeing with some of the live shots going on. You just see how flooded those cars are floating right now that you see down there at ground level.
You see this video effect, folks? And I know that it's impressive watching this. Everyone, I'm going to say, hold your phones east-west, not north-south. And that'll allow us to use the video for television. You see the difference in perspective? That looks like the shape of a telephone, doesn't it? Because he used his smartphone. But the video is overwhelming. It gives us a perspective of what portions and pockets of the state of Florida are dealing with.
And I'm going to bring in meteorologist Candace Campos into this conversation, if we can open her mic, because you have been talking about the amount of rain that we will see, particularly in our area, but it's just getting dumped into Florida as Ian is approaching.
Right. I I mean, we're still talking about the center of Ian, still upwards of about 100 miles away from Central Florida, and already we are anticipating plenty of rain. Areas in Brevard County have racked up already 3, 4, even 5 inches of rainfall, and that is
Just
just
like
as
Hurricane
Hurricane Ian's
Charlie.
rain bands that have been kind of just
Yeah.
spinning around throughout the overnight and early morning hours.
Well,
Crystal.
here's like the opposite of what you were talking about. This is wild video out of Tampa. It shows people walking on the seafloor after Ian sucked the water away from the coast.
Oh my
But little do they
God.
know, experts say it's dangerous because the water is going to return eventually.
Yeah.
So-
just like a giant vacuum.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. That water's coming back, and look at that. It is interesting to see, but folks, you're putting yourself at risk.
It is proof that the hurricane is a steam engine, basically. It just sucks up all that heat and all that moisture and all that water content in the Gulf of Mexico, sucking all that up, bringing it into the atmosphere, and then dumping it across Florida.
Wow.
So it's basically, I mean, an intense water cycle here, but that just goes to show you how strong a storm is when it comes to sucking up the ocean.
Yeah.
All right, and the impact is being felt in Fort Myers right now. Take a look at this. This is video showing people in a hotel. It looks like they're trying to hold the door because the conditions are so rough, the wind there, pushing the door open.
Can you imagine? That is completely unsettling. That gives you a quick snapshot of what we're dealing with across the state. Imagine bracing the doors so the storm doesn't blow into your hotel, which you think is a protective shelter. Video showing the storm surge hitting someone's home. You bet we've got that as well. This is on Pine Island, not far from Fort Myers. You can see the waves actually hitting the person's home. Look at that. And the final video?
Things could get worse there as well. An extraordinary amount of
That is a
lightning
massive
surrounding Hurricane
fucking
Ian as it approaches
hurricane.
landfall in Florida. Look at that. This is from the NOAA weather satellite. You can see the lightning strikes there.
Magnificent but scary. New video showing
Perfect
inside
storm.
the Hurricane Hunter plane, Kermit. We showed this a little bit ago. Let's take a breath from it. Listen to this.
Holy cow.
Hurricane Hunter, Nick Underwood calls this the roughest flight of my career so far, adding, quote, I mean it. I have never seen the bunks come out like that. There was coffee everywhere. I've never felt such lateral motion.
Perfect
I've never
storm.
seen so much lightning in an eye. That was this morning.
This is
Flying in
crazy.
Category 4 aboard the Hurricane Hunter plane, Kermit.
Pray for
based in
Florida,
Lakeland,
everyone.
guys.
Pray
Well
for Florida.
done.
And we saw that, Hurricane Ian hit landfall a little under an hour ago. So we want to get to meteorologist Candace Campos. When can we start seeing the worst of this?
Yeah, those impacts are going to be more overnight.
Oh.
It's interesting, Mike, that you called it Kermit. There's 2 hurricane hunters that fly through the storm at the lower levels. It's called
I hope
Kermit and
everybody got
Peggy,
out
and
of
then you have
Fort
the Gulf
Myers. I
Stream,
know
which flies
that.
over the storm, and that's called Gonzo. So if you were wondering why the Muppet terms there, that's the reason, the 3 that they call it. But let's talk about Ian at landfall. It happened officially at 3:05 this afternoon over Cayo Costa, Florida, and that's one of the little islands right there. You can see we have our indicator there as a very powerful Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. And we are going to continue to
Good
watch
Lord.
Ian continue to spiral into central Florida throughout the next few hours. And as it continues to make its northeast trek, as you can see here, this is the 11 o'clock cone here by Thursday morning and into Thursday evening is where we will start to see the worst of it. Even though this storm is still about 100 miles out, the center at least, look at how much rainfall we've already seen from Hurricane Ian. Kennedy Space Center, almost 5 inches of rainfall. Just already, you can see Indian Harbor Beach at 4.5, Melbourne at 4.4 almost, Vieira coming in at almost a little over 3.5 inches of rainfall, and that's just from those outward feeder bands that started to whip across parts of Brevard County. So let's take it to the maps here. This is our tropical storm advisories. This has not changed as of yesterday. It still includes Sumter, Marion, and Flagler County. But what has
great.
changed is
That's
now our
awesome.
coastal zones are under hurricane warnings now. To add to Seminole County, Orange, Osceola, Polk, as well as Lake County. And the main reason for that is as of the 11 a.m. update, they continue to speed up Hurricane Ian. So the thought process here is that there is that possibility that we could see hurricane strength even along our coastline, along the East Coast. So even though this is technically a West Coast landfalling storm, there is still the potential of seeing hurricane force force winds there on the East Coast. That's how much power is packed here with Hurricane Ian. All right, we also have tornado watches in effect, should be extended as we are going to be on that northeast side of that forecast cone here. That includes Seminole, Orange, Osceola, Polk, and Brevard County. We'll have those quick spin-ups. We had one little batch there that moved in between 2 and 3:30. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells was on for almost an hour and a half, continuing to pinpoint those quick spin-ups, and that is possibly going to be the story as we head into the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. With that being said, let's take a moment and let's look county by county. So if you're sitting there, you're watching us wondering, okay, I see some rain out there, maybe a little bit of gusty winds at times, but when is the real meat and potatoes of the storm going to happen? So you can see it right here up on the banner. I gave you, give or take a couple
11
hours.
o'clock
This is not exact, but the
p.m.
strongest winds will start to arrive for you guys in Lincoln Sumter County by 11 o'clock tonight. So of course, that's past bedtime for many folks. So making sure that your phones are charged, your iPads are charged.
Not good.
You have your hurricane radios ready. So in case we do have those spin-ups, those
Not
tornado
good at
warnings,
all.
any advisories that need to be sent to you overnight, you will be able to receive them. On top of those strong winds, we're anticipating about 15 to 20 inches of rainfall when all this is said and done. Let's go to Osceola and Polk. This includes Poinciana, Kissimmee,
This is bad.
all the way down
This
to
ain't
Gila
good.
Junction. You're also at about the 11 o'clock hour for tonight.
I mean,
Scattered
we'll get the
tornado threat for
feeder
you guys
bands, but
because
we're
you
not
will
going
be
to get
more
the
on that
bad part
right
of it.
side of Hurricane Ian.
Fort
How about
Myers
for you
and
guys in
everybody
Orange and Seminole County? You can see
else
from
got the
Lake
bad
Park,
part.
Wekiva Springs, Goldenrod, all these areas here, you can start seeing the strongest winds at about 1 a.m. on Thursday. A little later, since you guys are further east. 10 to 15 inches of rainfall, also a big possibility. And because you're under hurricane warning, look at your winds. Up to 70 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts certainly could be a possibility.
Right now we're getting the feeder bands from it.
Okay, you've already seen almost 5 inches of rainfall. Honestly, I think we might even have to crank up this rainfall rates, as you guys saw feeder band overnight and early this morning, which packed all that rain, as I showed you those rain totals. Brief tornadoes, still a possibility as we get those wraparound bands from Titusville. This includes Merritt Island for you guys. Good evening in Rockledge, Melbourne, West Melbourne. We have our crews lined up in Brevard County as well, so we also will see that possibility of rip currents, beach erosion. Like I said, even though this technically is a West Coast storm, we are still going to be anticipating a lot of moisture, a lot of rain, and a lot of wind with this storm. All right, let's take it now to Volusia County. Your strongest winds about 5 a.m. on Thursday. That also is Brevard County. I didn't mention that. You can see Lake Helen, DeLand, Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach, throughout the Oak Hill area and Geneva. Your worst weather will start at about 5 a.m. As Tom always talks about,
5
it's not
o'clock
one
tomorrow.
point. It is going to take
Wonderful.
a few hours to get the storm out of here. So just be prepared, making sure you have everything charged up
Coast.
so you can be alerted daytime or nighttime. And then in Flagler County, Marineland, Palm Coast, Flagler Beach, Crescent City, you can see 15 to 20 inches of rainfall. And you might be a little later on than the rest of Central Florida, because as we see that cone move towards the north a little bit, that's where you guys will start to see the worst of it. How strong the winds are we talking about here? 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts certainly will be in the area by about 9 a.m. on Thursday. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be rough going getting to that 9 a.m. hour. We're just talking about kind of the worst of the weather. And then finally, Marion County. We cover a lot of counties, don't we? Marion County, the strongest winds also about 9 a.m. And you would think, well, it's technically west. Why wouldn't it be so late in the game? It's because you guys are further north. So as Ian starts taking that further turn towards the north, as it makes its way out to
I ain't
shore,
going nowhere,
that's
Pete.
when we'll start to see more of those impacts
Trust
for you
me.
guys. What are those impacts? 40 to 60 mile per hour winds. You can see 15 to 20 miles per hour. So overall, guys, the impacts are really going to be dependent on where you are, making sure you have everything ready overnight, not letting your guard down, because this certainly will be an event that will last for several hours.
Yes, it is. In fact, Candace Campos, thank you. Now, we want to take a minute to sort of reset, as we have been well into hurricane coverage for the entire day right now. News 6 is your source for Hurricane Ian coverage, and we are so honored that you're staying with us throughout this whole thing. Glad to have you. I'm Matt Austin.
Yeah, we are headed for the long haul. We will be with you throughout about this storm. I'm Ginger Gadsden. We have a team of meteorologists with us, in case you haven't noticed, including Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells and, of course, Meteorologist Candace Campos.
We're on the East Coast. We're not going to get it that bad.
Covering everything from where the storm just made landfall less than an hour ago on the southwest part of our state to flooding in Brevard County and preps in Orange County, Seminole County, and beyond. We start, though, of course, with the man of the hour, Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells. Tom, tell us what's going on.
All right, I want to start out with wind this go around. Wind first, we're going to be waiting for the high wind to really get in here. So far today, the winds have been building.
It's not bad.
By hour by hour. It's 23 mile per hour sustained wind right now in Leesburg, 25 in Orlando, 28 in Kissimmee. Not a bad day, except it really is blowing. Hey, hold on. Advance me up there. Wind gust up to 36 miles per hour is what we've been dealing with in the last hour or two. And look at Sanford. Mike was talking earlier about power outages in Sanford. Well, we had a 48 mile per hour wind gust in Sanford. You got to believe that had something to do with it. Here's live weather radar right now. It's tornado watch box in effect throughout a long time to go. This is what
we won't get hit until tomorrow.
Right now on live radar. See from Venice to Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, all the way down to Cape Coral, getting the big rain. The eye wall is on shore and then rotating back out into the open water. A couple of things to take note of here. You see the way it looks for the moment. The backside of this is kind of flattening out just a little bit, getting sheared some. It's not nearly as healthy on the bottom side or the east side as you might think now that it's made its way on land. So we'll continue to watch that into the evening. Now, here at home, feeder band activity, all kinds of rain going on, all kinds of problems. Heavy rain from Orlando all the way to Rockledge down to Palm Bay. These red boxes you're seeing here, those were tornado warnings that we had, as they mentioned earlier. Starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon, boom, tornado warning went for about an hour and a half, and now the heavy rain continues all the way to Palm Coast. Where are we going from here?
4 o'clock p.m. That's tomorrow.
There's the eye, still a good
Oh, today.
113
Wonderful.
miles away from Orlando. Eventually it will make landfall. Here's the way eventually it will roll through a little closer now that it has made landfall. Here's the 4 p.m. advisory. Wind speeds have dropped. They're up to 155 earlier. Now they're at 145. But the wind gusts, guys, are 190 miles per hour. Can you imagine almost 200 mile per hour wind gusts still moving to the
That's a
northeast?
big fucking hurricane.
9 miles per
Holy
hour.
shit.
Now that it's on land, you can see on this high resolution shot what I'm talking about. Kind of flattening out on the backside. More of a right-hand sided storm is the way it looks, and the eye is becoming a little jagged, a little wonky looking. That's good. We love for this thing to lose all of its power, all of its energy, and really start to struggle and have trouble. As we advance the thing tonight, you'll see the activity.
But we're gonna get flooded, dumbass.
Hasn't changed since 11 a.m. So on the current track as of 11 a.m., it should be up here in southern Orange County at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it's still a good 14 hours from now, right? 12? For 16 hours from now, by the time it will be all the way into Orange County. We're going to be dealing with this rain, the wind gust, and all the trouble that it brings with it for hours to come until 8 p.m. tomorrow night before it cleans out. Tropical models today have jogged a little farther south and east, but not enough to make much of a difference. Now that it's on land, we'll continue to track it for you without much input from the models.
Wish it would have went a little further than that.
Rain forecast for tonight. Here's tonight by midnight into 5, 6, 7, 8 in the morning. Here's Thursday by 9 a.m. Much of the big slug of rain should be from Orlando up to Flagler County and leaving, and the bottom side of the storm doesn't look nearly as impressive. So by tomorrow evening, things should be rapidly improving here in Central Florida. Standing by now with more is meteorologist Candace Campos. Hey, Candace.
Well, Tom, just came down that we did have a report of a tornado as of the National Weather Service.
No shit.
This was in Brevard County. Camp Holly Fish Cam, social media reported tornado about 3:30. Okay. So this was around that that warning time. Showed a brief tornado supported by radar imagery crossing over Highway 192 just east of Brevard Osceola County line.
So that someone saw it, they went and saw the damage.
Social media has seen it.
Yeah, we not looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So that's what we have so far. And of course, we're going to continue to have those warnings.
Right.
Right, the 1st of May. So stick with us because it is going to be a long night. As you can see, Hurricane Ian officially making landfall there at Cayo Costa, Florida at 3:05 this afternoon as a Category 4 storm. Sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. This is just a beast of a storm. It is big and it is in charge. You can see here, hurricane-spawned tornadoes. This is certainly going to be one of the big threats, especially overnight. tonight, and that's my big concern. A lot of people think, okay, there hasn't really been much. You know, schools are closed. A lot of people don't have to go to work. Everyone has their stuff all ready to go, but then everyone goes to bed. That's where I get concerned, because we are going to see a big part of our viewing area in that northeast side of the storm. So we could have several of those quick spin-up tornadoes that happen during tropical events like this. So what happens is basically a hurricane rolls over land, it hits some friction, like buildings and trees, it starts those quick spin-ups, and that's when we get those short-lived and small tornadoes, like we just have reported already at this hour in Brevard County. Other impacts already being felt also in Brevard County is the rainfall. Impressive. Kennedy Space Center, about 5 inches of rain, almost there as well in Indian Harbor Beach. You can see Palm Bay
You
about
said
4
that
inches.
once before,
About
woman.
3.5 inches of rainfall for you guys there in the Vieri area. So already we're seeing heavy amounts of rain, flooding certainly a possibility, and of course the system is still almost 100 miles still out from Central Florida. Tropical storm advisories are still in place. We have a tropical storm warning everywhere highlighted here in blue. That includes for you guys in Flagler, Marion, and Sumter County, and then all the other areas are still indicated here with a hurricane warning, meaning hurricane force winds 74 plus. When we talk about miles per hour, could be expected across all the areas here highlighted in red throughout tonight and early tomorrow morning. Another threat will be those one tornadoes. The forecast cone still has it pushing through east central Florida towards the northeast, which is why it's the right side of that storm that you can see several of these watch boxes in effect. Coming up in a little bit, I'll go breaking down the county by county impacts, the timelines, how much rain, how much wind, everything you need to know throughout the overnight hours and early tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Candace, I'm a little shocked. 5 inches of rain already in Brevard County. We're barely into the first quarter here, and already 5 inches of rain, waterlogged. Our coverage of Hurricane Ian continues now in Polk County.
Yeah, and that's where we find News 6's Maris Babcock right now. Maris.
Well, that's it for me for now. I will catch you later, Pete.
We're both Polk County natives, and this